Our story starts in the late 19th century, an era marked by significant changes. Europe was a tumultuous mix of alliances and rivalries, much like a gigantic chessboard. Each nation was grappling with the intense pressure of politics and power, strategically maneuvering for dominance. Germany, Britain, Austria, Hungary, Russia, and France were the main players in this power game. Each had individual strengths in this power game. Each had individual strengths, weaknesses, cultures, economies, and national interests. Their constant dance for dominance frequently led to clashes and tension. Moreover, each nation was sitting on a powder keg. This era was characterized by the rise of militarism. Countries were investing heavily in but to assert dominance and influence. Imperialism further fueled the volatile situation. The dominant nations sought to expand their territories, leading to more clashes and rivalry. Therefore, late 19th century Europe was a complex web of alliances and rivalries, a ticking time bomb. Our story, therefore, commences from this turbulent epoch, taking you through the intricate maze of events. A defining juncture in this intricate ballet of supremacy was the Unification of Germany in 1871. An event of monumental significance, it marked the amalgamation of previously separate states, heralding the dawn of a new epoch. Germany, under the formidable reign of Bismarck, was set to approach global politics with prudence. Bismarck, a tactful leader, embodied strategic expansion. His leadership was not defined by impulsive choices, but rather a deep understanding of power dynamics. With the finesse of an experienced diplomat, he navigated the complexities of international relations, meticulously weighing the outcomes of each decision. His diplomatic approach to growth was a divergence from the aggressive expansionism of his contemporaries. His strategy was to bolster standing not via conquest, but through strategic diplomacy and alliances. Now let's contemplate a hypothetical scenario. What if the successors of Bismarck had upheld his diplomatic approach? What if they had chosen a cautious path over aggressive expansionism? This brings us to a thought-provoking query. Could a more cautious Germany, walking in Bismarck's shoes, have averted the... Meanwhile, Britain, the world's leading power, maintained a policy of splendid isolation, avoiding continental disputes. This strategy, conceived during the height of its empire, was rooted in the principle of non-interference in other nations' political affairs. Britain preferred to watch the unfolding drama from the periphery, without active participation. With vast overseas colonies and the world's strongest navy, Britain's main concern was protecting its empire and naval dominance. British leaders saw European politics as a diversion from key goals. Their stance of non-intervention was bolstered by the belief that the country's island geography and robust navy provided robust security. However, this approach provokes questions about the potential influence of a more involved Britain on historical events. Could it have diffused rising tensions by influencing other powers? Might it have leveraged its significant clout to foster resolution of escalating rivalries? Historical what-ifs offer intriguing contemplation. For instance, would an alteration in Britain's splendid isolation policy have substantially shifted the trajectory of events? Could a more engaged Britain have tempered the tensions? The intriguing what-ifs of history provide much food for thought. If Britain had chosen to sway from its policy of splendid isolation, could the trajectory of events have been altered substantially? Could a more involved Britain have moderated? In the east, the sprawling multi-ethnic empire of Austria-Hungary faced its own challenges. Governed by the Habsburg monarchy, this realm was a tapestry of diverse cultures, languages, and peoples. Over time, it grew by incorporating lands such as Bohemia, Hungary, Poland, and Bosnia. But this expansion brought about a mixture of cultures which led to tension. Serbia, a province nestled in the Balkans, was a significant source of this unrest. The Serbian people under Austro-Hungarian rule were fueled by a desire for independence. This longing wasn't merely a dream, but a potent force that spurred a dynamic nationalist movement. A Serbian nationalist, Gavrilo Princip, translated this sentiment into action, targeting Archduke Franz Ferdinand, the heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, in June 1914. This incident set off a sequence of events leading to World War I, marking a significant shift in history. Even so, it's intriguing to contemplate an alternate scenario. What if the Archduke had survived that assassination attempt? Could Austria-Hungary and Serbia have found a peaceful solution to their issues, avoiding... Then there was Russia. the giant bear of the East, steadfast and unyielding in its determination to protect its Slavic brothers entrenched in Serbia. This vast nation, with its expansive terrain and diverse cultures, was a formidable power, steadfast in its resolve. Russia, stretching from the Arctic to the Black Sea, was an unassailable force, a shield for its Serbian brethren. Its influence and patriotism were unwavering, deeply etched in the hearts of its people. It wasn't just a country, it was an empire, a spectacle of power that inspired awe and respect and often dread in allies and rivals alike. Every dawn over the infinite steppes, every dusk behind the Ural Mountains, spoke of Russia's unbroken resolve. It was a presence that commanded respect, a presence that refused to be dismissed. Its persistence in the East, its staunch refusal to waver, were the very epitomes of a sovereign nation defending its ground. In the midst of this intense political climate, one couldn't help but wonder, would a less assertive Russia have diffused the crisis? Finally, France, still reeling from its defeat to Germany in the Franco-Prussian War of 1870, was desperate to reclaim its lost territories. Post-defeat, nationalism surged, fostering a thirst for recompense. This thirst for revenge was palpable among the French populace. Their collective pride was wounded, and they were yearning for a chance to restore it. The French government, too, was grappling with the same sentiment. It was wrestling with this colossal sense of loss, yearning to re-establish its stronghold and regain the nation's respect. The leaders were acutely aware of the public sentiment favoring retaliation. This understanding significantly escalated tensions between France and Germany. The desire for retribution loomed large over France, in the form of a metaphorical spectre, casting a shadow of potential conflict across Europe. This spectre, birthed from the ashes of the Franco-Prussian War, threatened to plunge the continent into another war. This begs the question, what if France had chosen reconciliation over retaliation? Could a less vengeful France have established an alternative path to peace? Could diplomacy, as opposed to brinkmanship, have fostered harmony among European nations? Could a less revengeful France have contributed to the peace? At this juncture, one can't help but wonder about the alternative outcomes. What if France had chosen a path of reconciliation instead of retaliation? The possibility of a less vengeful France might have offered an alternative path towards lasting peace. The what-ifs are certainly numerous, and the answers are far from being clear-cut. As we journey through time, we're met with countless events and choices. Each plays a role in shaping history and forming a rich tapestry of our past. Every element, even minor ones, has the potential to influence the outcome. Change one thread, and the whole picture could look different. In conclusion, World War I, with its devastating consequences, was not inevitable. Key events, including Germany's unification, Britain's isolation, Austria-Hungary's tensions, Russia's loyalty to Serbia, and France's revenge, could have rewritten history. History. That's the power of history.